To order. Can we all please rise for a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Burdell.
Here.
Ms. Bowser. Here. Mr. Johnsick. Mr. Elkin.
Here.
Ms. Lote. Here. Dr. Lobby.
Here.
Mr. Mulroy. Mr. Scade.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Yeah, the copies are on there.
Okay.
I mean, I have them.
Okay. So,
The election certificates we'll announce are on file with the school secretary. And at this point, you are going to want to swear in no, they're all sworn?
They're all sworn.
So there's nothing you have to worry about on that one? Okay.
okay.
So now you're done.
Okay, so, the organization meeting agenda summary. We need a motion to nominate a temporary president from the holdover members.
I nominate Paul.
We don't need a second on that, do we?
No, you don't need seconds for nominations?
Okay.
Motion to close.
Any other nominations? Motion to close the nominations?
So moved. Is there a second?
Second?
Second.
All in favor of closing the nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All in favor, Dr. Lobby?
All in favor of Dr. Lobby as president, temporary president of the board, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we have to nominate a president. Okay, we have to nominate a president for the board of directors. Do I have any nominations?
I nominate Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnsick. Do we have any other nominations? Okay, can I have a motion that the nominations for the president be closed? Second?
Second.
All those in favor of Chris Johnsick for president, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, congratulations, Chris, even though you're not here. Oh, sure, you're not coming to the meeting.
That's what happened.
Okay.
That's right. That's
He
right.
did touch base today and say that if he was nominated, he would gladly accept it.
Good.
He's out of town on business, or he would have
Yeah, we wouldn't do that, Tim. Next, we have election of the vice president. Do I have any nominations for vice president?
Elect Dr. Lobby for Vice President.
Any other nominations for vice president? Can I have a motion to close the nominations for vice president?
Make a motion?
Mr. Riddell, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All those in favor of Dr. Lobby for vice president say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, congratulations, Dr. Lobby.
Now you can legitimately do the rest of this stuff.
Okay.
Okay, now we have to elect the directors and alternates to the Lenape VOTEC Joint Operating Committee, of which there are two. And those two were Linda and Joe, and since they're no longer on the board, we need to replace them.
We had three.
Three, I'm sorry.
Tim,
Tim
You're
is,
still, yeah,
still interested?
he's still on.
Tim's still on, so,
You have two terms. One is a 3-year term. Voc Ed directors are served for 3 years at the discretion, at the election of their local school board. But you also have to fill an unexpired term for Ms. Walker. And that term ends December 2018. So I would suggest the first one you do would be the 3-year term that will end December of 2020.
that's the term that Mr. Close.
Yes, that's the one that he had and was ending anyway. And the first meeting of Lenape's next week, I believe.
Okay.
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm a week.
So, do we have anybody that has an interest in,
Mr. Smith, are you interested in that?
If no one else, I'll take one. All right.
okay, so, can we have a nomination to fill the full term for the Lenape
I
Voc Tech?
nominate Mr. Smith for Lenape Operation Committee.
Any other nominations? We need a motion to close nominations. Yeah,
Close it.
can I have a motion to close the nominations to that position? Mr. Skate, second.
In favor of
And
closing.
all those in favor of closing the nominations, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All those in favor of Mr. Smith for the Lenape Tech Joint Operating Committee, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Doug.
I ran hard for this.
Okay, now we have to fill the one-year term. Do I have any interested parties in filling the one-year term?
What do you think, Tracy?
What does it entail? I have a 2-year-old at home, and so I just 2 meetings a month is kind of a lot. Or it could be 3
They meet once a month.
once a month.
They do the open, the caucus and the regular meeting on the same.
What evening is that?
Third Thursdays, and they start at 6:30.
Okay, yeah, I guess I could do it for the 1-year term.
They're at the Lenape campus.
Usually fairly quick, usually 7:30, 8 o'clock.
It's in the adult center.
Okay. So was that a nomination, Steve?
This was nominated.
Okay, are there any other nominations for the one-year term at the Lenape Joint Operating Committee? If not, can I have a motion to close the nominations? Amy, second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor of closing the nominations, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, all those in favor of Tracy Bowser as our representative to the Lenape Tech Joint Operating Committee, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. Okay, now we have to,
You want to be aware that at Lenape, if you are not, at Armstrong, if you have not the formal appointed member to Lenape, everybody else is deemed an alternate.
Superintendent of records.
So the rest of the 6, you are alternates in case we need coverage there. At any given time, one of you might be asked to do it. So the minutes will reflect that.
okay, now we need to fill a vacancy for the unexpired term of Linda Walker through June of 2020 on the Aaron Intermediate Board. Do I have any interested board members?
Oh, Mr. Johnson's not there.
Anybody interested in taking this position? That's until 2020. My term will be up in 2019. They meet the third Tuesday of every month.
Maybe up at
I,
At the Aaron Building.
your building near Indiana, right?
Yes.
It's right in, and it's on the side of the,
Right before you go.
Right off 422, yeah. Third Tuesday. So if we have no one that's interested, I mean, we have to have somebody that's willing to do this. If the representative doesn't make it, can another board member go in their place?
I don't
think
believe,
so.
yeah, the intermediate units don't have alternates, I don't believe. No, I know they don't.
Better to have someone part of the time than no one at all.
Wait and do this Monday then.
We could try on Monday. I mean, you guys can think about it over the weekend. Okay, so we will postpone that one. And then we also need to appoint a liaison to the Pennsylvania School Board Association
Present.
for 2018, and that's presently.
Yes.
Did he agree to do that? Okay. So, can I have a nomination?
Just do a motion on that one. Motion to do with Mr. Muller.
Can I have a motion to appoint Rick Mulroy as liaison to the Pennsylvania School Board Association?
Motion.
Amy, second?
I'll second that.
Kim, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then, I believe you all have a schedule of the regular meeting and open caucus sessions. So the school board, the Board of School Directors approves the attached schedule of monthly regular meetings and open caucus sessions for 2018 calendar year. The open caucus sessions, regular monthly meetings will begin at 7:30 p.m. and will be held in room 2050, the large group instruction room in which we now sit, of the West Hills Intermediate School, unless otherwise determined. There's no action on.
Yeah, you need
We need an action on that. So can I have a motion to approve that schedule of meetings? Amy, second. Stan, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn the organizational meeting?
Motion.
Amy, Stan, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
One note on the meeting dates, typically it's the second Monday and the Thursday prior. There's two exceptions this year. It's next November because of Veterans Day. We made a change to the first Monday and Thursday. Then June because of the budget, it's the third Monday, Thursday prior because of the budget. There were two exceptions.
Do we need to do this again?
No, you just need to do, you have to do a roll call again.
Okay. So we're, that's the organization. Yeah.
Open caucus sessions.
Okay, so now we are on the open caucus meeting of Thursday, December 7th. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Burdell.
Here.
Ms. Bowser.
Here.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Elkin.
Here.
Ms. Lowe.
Here.
Dr. Lobby.
Here.
Mr. Mulroy. Mr. Scaife.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
The Board of School Directors of Armstrong School District convened an executive session on Thursday, December 7th at 7:00 p.m. in the Faculty Lounge of West Hills Intermediate School in Katanning for discussion of personnel, student confidentiality, and real estate.
Thank you. Central office reports, everything?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Williams and Dr. Slawski for the presentation of our student achievement data.
Good evening. The administrative team is here with us this evening to share the student achievement results for the 2016-17 school year. The principals will share their school-level data, and they'll provide an overview of their school improvement strategies. As part of their presentations, the principals will be sharing their school performance profile information. These scores are presented by the Pennsylvania Department of Education, and they reflect the school's academic performance. This scoring system is based on a 100-point scale and is based on many data points. The first data point is the student's performance in English language arts, mathematics, and science. These three areas comprise the largest percentage of the score, as well as the school's success in closing the achievement gap. The degree of student growth from one year to the next is also part of the school performance profile, and that's called a PVAS score. And that score measures the student's growth from one year to the next. In other words, the achievement captures a student's achievement in one period of time, whereas the growth is from one year to the next. In addition, graduation, promotion, and attendance rates also enter into this score, as well as the rigor of the course offerings that we offer in the Armstrong School District. This next slide basically, I'll give you an overview of the district perspective
Lights down.
with regards to our district averages compared to the state's averages in the elementary schools in grades 3 through 6. This chart will show you the scores and how we compare with the state in grades 3, 4, 5, and 6. ELA is English Language Arts. And as you can see, our district averages match, and in many cases far exceed the state averages. Go back to the map. Yeah. Too fast. Okay. Right there. This particular slide shows the math and the science scores for the district. And as you can see, our averages really far exceed the state averages. For example, if you take a look at third grade, we are 11% higher than the state with regards to student achievement in math. Fourth grade, we are 4% higher. Fifth grade, 12% higher. And sixth grade, 11% higher than the state average. In science in the elementary, we are only assessed in fourth grade. And in fourth grade, as you can see, our science percentage, that 83% of our students in fourth grade were proficient or advanced in science, compared to the state average of 75%, with a difference of 8%. Do you have any questions for me with regards to the elementary? This is just giving you a district perspective with regards to where we are with each of the grade levels. The individual principals will share their own specific building level data and share with you their improvement plans for their own individual schools.
Go ahead. Continuing on that theme, you can see this is our grade 7, grade 8, where they also take a PSSA. Okay, there is no science assessment in 7th grade. There is a science assessment in 8th grade. You can see our district averages compared to state averages. We're up on some, down on others. Obviously, the one that may stand out here is our 8 math at 24 compared to 33 in the state. The other thing that I would emphasize with this is this is the traditional measure that we're used to, that we got familiar with No Child Left Behind. The measure that says, every kid has to reach this level to be proficient. Dr. Solosky also talked about growth, right? And that last year when I was here to talk about the data and what we were doing, that has been a decided emphasis for us at the secondary level, because student growth really drives the school performance indicator. This is certainly part of it, but growth is a bigger part of it. And growth speaks to the notion that we're helping every child reach their full potential, okay? Can every child reach proficiency? Maybe not. But can every child grow and improve in a particular subject? Definitely. Also at the secondary level, these are subject specific, which you're probably familiar with or have heard of, the Keystone exams. Those occur it's an end of a course assessment given in algebra and literature at grade 10, so basically 10th grade English and biology. You can see our averages for proficiency there, very favorable. Okay, very favorable as they were last year. Those numbers put our 2 secondary schools in about the top 30% of the 676 reporting schools, which is credit to our teachers, credit to our principals. As we go forward here, the principals are going into detail about some of the areas that we're trying to address. From the previous slide, one of those being our mid-level, our 7th and 8th classes in ELA or English Language Arts and mathematics. First, we're going to start at the elementary level, so I will pass things off to Mrs. Berry. Any questions for me?
All right, good evening. Again, my name is Paula Berry. I'm the principal at West Hills Primary. I want to welcome the opportunity again this year to kind of share some of the successes at West Hills Primary. I'm the one that's presenting them, but they really have nothing to do with me. They really have to do with the students and the teachers at West Hills. Our ELA, and remember too, let me preface this, remember too, some of these scores, we only have 1 grade, so when you look at our SPP score, I'll talk about that at one point. But our ELA, English Language Arts, 74%, proficient or advanced. Very proud of the students. Last year we were at 65%, so we made a 9% jump there. Teachers worked really hard in that area. And in the math area, we were 60% last year, and this year we have 74% of our students proficient or advanced in math. Our focus last year was really trying to meet both of those, and I think the teachers did a great job and the students did a great job working hard meeting those goals. For our school performance profile, again, doesn't take into the graduation rates and some of the things it does in other grades, in other buildings. We have, of course, the ELA, math. We have, if we have so many students advanced, we get some extra points in that area, and also attendance. So our SPP, which we were very proud of, is 83.5. So that's awesome, and hopefully we're going to keep moving. So anyway, we take all this data, we try to figure out, okay, what's going to be our plan? What are we going to change for next year, and what do we keep the same? So we meet over the summer, and that's and we've been doing that for years. We meet over the summer. I have a team of teachers that come together. They delve into all kind of data. Now, we don't only look at PSSA because we only have 1 grade. Kindergarten, first, and second, we look at we have Dibble scores. We have running records to see where kids are reading. We have spelling inventory. So we take all of that data, and our kindergarten, first, and second are working hard to get those kids ready to take those PSSAs, and then the 3rd grade teachers, top it off. But so teachers, each grade level, they set goals, they come up with a plan, and we talk about that plan throughout the year. How close are we to meeting those goals? So each grade level has those. Professional learning communities. This is bringing teachers together in grade levels, talking about academics, talking about the curriculum, talking about students. We've had this for a couple years, but this year the focus is, because we have a new math curriculum, And some of you may have heard some of that, the discussion of that. So the teachers are really coming together twice a month and to look at each topic, to look at strategies, what they're teaching, how they're teaching it, what's working, and they're going to be focusing on that a lot more this year and making sure that we're hitting all those standards. And that's in every grade level. Our third grade, what's a little bit different this year, they're going to be doing the Study Island benchmarks. We've always had little, like, we've done CDTs. We've done different benchmarks, but this year it's called Study Island, and it's really based on the Pennsylvania standards. We took them in September. The third grade will take them again in January, and then we'll do them at the end of the year also. A little bit different, our kindergarten and second grade, because we saw some need within the data, that we are implementing a tier 2, which is intervention time. Kindergarten has about 20 minutes 3 times a week. Second grade has it twice a week, and we're looking at kids and data and trying to move kids in an intervention time. The Enhanced Positive Behavior Support Program, I kind of have that on there because we want every kid when they walk in our door to be proud to walk into West Hills Primary. And that's part of that positive piece that we add. We have Principal 100, they earn SOAR tickets, they love it. You know, they need to be proud of what they're learning, what they're doing, and all the teachers need to feel that as well. So we're all working hard, teachers are working hard, and I got to give all the credit really to the teachers and the students. So, of course, I'm the one here, but I don't get that credit as much as they deserve it. So I'm going to pass it on to West Hills Intermediate, Dr. Kranebacher. All of our students feed into Dr. Kranebacher's building, of course, and we often work to try to figure out what we need to do to help that. So, you ready?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for the opportunity to present here tonight. As Mrs. Berry shared, I have some successes and some things to share that we're proud of, but the credit goes to my hardworking and skillful staff. They're the ones that get it done in the classroom on a daily basis. So the first slide that I'd like to share with you that leads up to the explanation, or at least part of the explanation of our school performance profile, is our achievement scores. Again, my building here at West Hills is a 4, 5, 6 building, so all students in this building take the PSSA test. The numbers that you see that are larger, for example, in the ELA, grade 4, 68% are the scores from 2017. Grade 5, 54%, grade 6, 55%. The scores in parentheses are the previous year's scores. So overall, there's a lot of growth here that we're happy with. We posted in grade 4 68%, which is the highest ELA score that we've had on record here in West Hills in ELA. And you can see in nearly every box we have improved from the previous year. The other way that we can look at the growth is looking at the scores as a cohort. So for example, if we look at the math in 5th grade math was at 35% 2 years ago. That same group of kids is now in 6th grade at 44%. So as a cohort moving forward, they grew. We can change the slide, please. Go back one more, I'm sorry. I wasn't. Thank you. We also did quite well in science. We were at 84%. The previous year, we were at 77%. So we grew significantly there as well. Our school performance profile was a 71.1, which increased from a 70.4 the year before. So again, we demonstrated growth and achievement in a lot of the different areas. As Dr. Williams was explaining earlier, we look at our performance both in achievement and in growth, growth being measured in our PVOS score. And in a sense, what we're looking at is how do our children perform compared to other children with exact same demographics and profiles. In a couple areas that I would point out, we had significant evidence of growth. We were highlighted in blue, meaning we did really well in grades 5 and 6 math. Our children really grew exceedingly well in those two particular areas. Grade 4 science, as we pointed out in the previous slide also, we demonstrated significant growth. A couple of areas of focus and intervention, we have things to work on, and we're going to look at our the top quintile in ELA across all grades. overall grade 4 math in all quintiles, and our overall grade 5 ELA are a couple of our areas of focus that we will be attacking this year. Next slide, please. So our plan for success this year are similar things to what Mrs. Berry presented. We do work collaboratively, and we share families, and we share siblings and so forth, so it certainly makes sense. But we have a high emphasis, as last year, on standards-based instruction. And what I mean by this is we're making sure that the material and the skills that we're teaching our kids are within the scope of that particular grade. We're not outside of the grade, and we're not leaving out important pieces as well. We're making sure that we're hitting both the rigor and the application of those skills so that they'll be prepared for what they're asked to do on the assessment. We're looking, so we have a standards inventory that we make sure that we are checking off all of those particular skills and material that we have to teach, and we're making sure that we're getting it done in a proper pacing so that we're not rushing, but we're not dragging behind as well. We have individual classroom plans where we are using our PVOS data. There's a nice feature in there that allows us to work with students and data and come up with some projections of children who are maybe in danger of not being proficient, and also kids who have been proficient but may be projected to not be in the same position next year. So we have kind of separated those folks, and we have some plans for them individually. Mrs. Berry mentioned the Study Island benchmark assessments. These are kind of small PSSA tests, if you will. It gives us an opportunity, it's our monitoring tool to see are we on the right track or not. We are also doing the professional learning communities, very similar fashion to the primary building, where we're getting teachers together, predominantly taking a look at common assessments and making sure that we have the proper rigor in the work that we're doing. And the last piece that I wanted to share, something that I'm proud of in our building, it's something that's affecting all of us. The ELA PSSA test has changed this year. Previously, there 33% of the score was writing. Part of it was lengthy writing prompts that the students had to do, and 19% of it was something called a text-dependent analysis, when they are analyzing a piece of literature, looking at author's purpose, author's craft, and so forth. It has changed so that the entire writing portion is 25% this year. The writing prompts are gone, and it's only a text-dependent analysis question. So it's a very important. There will be 2 on the test. Only 1 will count. 1 will be a field test item. So it's very important that we do well on this. And through our, the professional development that we're working on, what we're doing is learning to write like a reader and read like a writer. So there's this reciprocal process in there. So this has become a, definitely a weekly discussion topic with my staff, and something that we're working heavily on. We'll be really hitting this hard on our January 15th in-service day that will affect all of our staff. So I will pass the presentation on to Mr. Hooks. Does anybody have any questions for West Hills Intermediate? Okay, thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Chris Hooks. I'm the assistant principal at both Elderton and Lenape Elementary. We'll start with Elderton Elementary first. Elderton Elementary, our achievement, we were pretty happy with the achievement that we had there. Our score ended up being our SPP score ended up being a 71.5. Can you go to the next slide? There. Okay. So, some things we did at Elderton Elementary this year, curriculum and instruction. We are departmentalized at Elderton in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So the way we view it is we let those teachers focus on their expertise, whether it be math or ELA or science. We made sure that we aligned the curriculum through the grade levels, and we do that through our meetings at the beginning of the year. I always do a training with our teachers at both buildings on PVOS and what PVOS means and how to look at our PVOS scores and determine how we move the kids and what areas. One nice thing about PVOS is it shows you, the high kids that start out lower, mid-range and higher, and then it actually shows you where you move those kids. Like, oh, you can look there and say, look, I did a really good job at moving our top kids, but I didn't do such good moving the lower kids. How can I change the way that we do things to help with that? Also, we have departmental meetings and grade meetings with our teachers, so we get them together. More so at Elderton, we do departmental meetings because it's easier to get everyone together since it's a smaller building. And we discuss, hey, the third grade teacher may say, these kids are coming up and they're having some problems with their addition facts, and we want to move on to multiplication. And we can actually get together and discuss how to move those kids forward in second grade, maybe some skills that we need to hit in first and second grade. As for professional development, like I said, we do some in-services. We've done in-services where we focus on the data and exactly which kids we want where and what interventions we want to do with those kids. And as for parent involvement, we kind of changed over the last few years where when we have a kid getting into the process of needing some supports and interventions, before we have these meetings and we'd have them within, now we want to reach out to those parents right away, and we want to get those parents involved because ultimately the best way to have success is if the school, the kid, and the family are working together all toward the same cause. Okay? Could you go to the next slide? Okay, Lenape Elementary. We were very proud. We saw some gains across the board at Lenape Elementary this year in every subject. We either grew or we maintained. Our SPP score raised over 6 points to a 75.8. So we were very proud of that. Again, it's the teachers in the building. They're the ones that are working hard, looking at the data and coming up with how we are going to best meet the needs of these kids. Could you go to the next slide? So at Lenape, we departmentalized third grade. And the reason we did that is when we looked at the data this year, we saw significant growth in fourth grade from the year before. Well, we departmentalized fourth grade the year before. So in fourth grade, there's 2 math teachers, 2 ELA teachers, 1 science teacher, okay? And they're kind of in pods. Well, we did that with third grade to see if we could have the same kind of effect so the teachers could specifically focus on their content area. We're hoping, and from what I'm seeing, I think it's going to be successful, that we see the same type of success that we saw with third grade. We aligned our curriculum through the grade levels, and I think, thanks to everyone, thanks to you guys, I think we have 2 great curriculums right now in ELA and math that have done that do that for us. Okay, so we are, we're moving full steam ahead. When I talk to my teachers about where their kids are compared to before this new curriculum started, they said they're doing so much better and they're so farther ahead. So we're expecting to continue to see growth. We do grade level meetings once a month. We meet within the grade. We talk about certain kids, if they're having academic issues or if they're having, maybe behavioral issues, and how and what interventions we can do to do that. And then we'll have department meetings where we will have all the math teachers in those groups meeting, the ELA teachers meeting. And they can discuss where we want to go and how we're going to get each kid there. Professional development, in-service days focus on our interventions. I mean, that's kind of where we spend our time, looking at data, looking at PSSA scores, looking at Study Island, like Dr. Kronbecker said, and saying, well, where are these skills that they're lacking, and exactly what can we do, and what interventions can we put in place to take care of that? Like I said, same with Elderton. I do a training on PVOS and how to interpret that. There's so much data out there that for teachers, I like to look at and then focus it for them and teach them exactly where they need to focus, because it can be overwhelming at times if you just look at the whole picture and not break it down and give them something specific to look at. I think it's important that teachers share with other teachers successes in the classrooms. There may be an awesome lesson that one teacher's teaching. Maybe I walk in and I'll walk through, or there may be, we break these kids into station time and one teacher's just differentiating and doing great things for kids. We try to make sure we share that amongst everyone so other teachers can see it and share it. As for parent involvement, I said it the same as Elderton. We want those parents involved from day one in those meetings, so we can let them know, here's what we do at school. Here's what would be great if you could help at home to try to get those kids where we need them to do, and just parent-teacher communication. We were very happy at the school. We saw great growth, especially in our math program this year. Across the board, we were in dark blues. So, it's our goal that we're going to continue to do that at Elderton Lenape Elementary, and we have some fantastic teachers and paraprofessionals and all those people there making it happen, okay? Next, I believe, is Dr. Giancola. I remember that actually from last year.
Hello, everyone. So first of all, just our scores from Dayton Elementary. A lot of my colleagues talked about the importance of the principal and the importance of the teachers. I think our job is the main job we have as principal is to support the teachers. So if you come to my building, if you come to their buildings, I've seen, our job is to be the head cheerleader. I think that's an important part of our job. So supporting teachers, supporting kids, showing that we're there for them. So that's what you'll see at both of my buildings. At Dayton Elementary, though, obviously we really went up in a lot of areas. Fourth dropped a little bit, but when I first saw in July how high our language arts, I was really happy with that. So 87% in English language arts in third grade, also 82. So I'm looking for the growth of those kids as well. I can't wait till next year when they're in fourth grade here, to see the results. 57% in English language arts, just continuing through. 59% in fifth grade, 74 in sixth grade. So we did pretty well in math. Fourth grade, it was a little bit, we dropped a little bit, so we're working on that. Fifth grade math, always high for us, so 94% and 58% in sixth grade. Science, 81%, well above the state average. Our SPP dropped a little bit. It went to 72. It was 76 last year. So moving on to Shannock. And also thank you for the shiny refurbished building. I think that's really going to make a difference. It's so much brighter. It's so much conducive to learning. And I appreciate the board supporting that. And it is great. If you haven't been out, come out. I'll take you for a tour. I always have time for that. So our third grade scores, they went up. They were both in the 60s in English language arts. So they went up considerably. Everybody went up basically, except for sixth grade. They dropped a little bit. I think we're more influenced in smaller schools. If you get a couple lower achieving kids, that does change these numbers more than in a larger school. Just statistics would tell you that. The one thing that I've never had happen in 15 years, and it happened this year in fourth grade, no kids were below basic in my fourth grade in any of the three areas. I've never had that happen in 15 years as an administrator. And I just realized that a few weeks ago because usually I look at that area, but wait, there are none, and it was just pretty incredible. I emailed the teachers and thanked them all at the end of the day a few weeks ago, so I'm happy with that. So everybody's moving. Our SPP went up. It's 82. It was 81 last year, so it went up. So some things we're doing in both schools. So our in-service days and faculty meetings, they're all about professional development. I do a thing in my school called the Monday Memo. All the administrivia stuff, things they need to know, I send that out in a memo. When we're meeting, we're talking about PD, we're talking about how to get better with our kids. So in math, we're going to continue with fractions. They did go up a lot this year, but we're going to keep the push going on with that. Writers Workshop, keep moving with that. The one thing, and I think we would need a whole other board meeting to talk about the benefits that we're going to derive from having full-day kindergarten. The biggest one, though, is the writing. Our kids are writing so much better. Our kids at the end of kindergarten were writing at the end of first grade level, like where our first graders were. So that was really good. So keeping that push going through the grade levels is going to be big for us. The PVOS scores. So we look at PVOS and the growth. In Shannock Valley, everybody was either green or blue, growth in all areas. At Shannock, or at Dayton, we went down a little bit in a couple of the grade levels, so we're working on that. We're doing our self-reflection guides for the teachers. Every teacher in 4th, 5th, and 6th do those, and we talk about them. talking about how to move all the groups in the 5 areas. So next I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Komenos. Thank you.
Well, good evening. Our presentation at the secondary level is a little bit different in the fact, obviously, our PSSAs end at 8th grade, and we start taking the Keystone exams. The Keystone percentages that you see there for proficient and advanced are based on when the students finally hit 11th grade. So some of those students have taken the test 2, maybe 3 times to finally pass it. The color coding that you see isn't just artistic liberty. What that is our PVOS locations for each of those grade levels, or each of those subject areas. And you see that our science is in dark blue. That simply means we have significant evidence that our students have reached at least a year's worth of growth, if not even more. The light blue just shows that there is evidence that, yes, we achieved what we were shooting for in that 1 year's of growth. But you see in mathematics that we're in red. And we have some beliefs as to why we're in red there, and we're not happy about it. You can see with the grade 7 and grade 8 with those low proficiency numbers, that's just a piece of the picture, because you can see we do score very well on Algebra 1 when those students get there. Part of it, if you go on to the next slide, we sit there and look at what are we missing. We've shown great improvement in our mid-level ELA scores. In last year, our numbers were in the red, low percentages of proficiency. We realigned the curriculum. We bought new textbook resources. We put a growth mindset into our teachers, and they worked really hard at having their students perform. And you saw some of the results in those numbers. So we're now doing the same thing in mathematics. We realigned our curriculum right along with the elementary. We adopted a new textbook series right up through geometry. And we truly believe that those elements are going to change, our scores are going to change in a positive direction. We had some students that maybe were taking courses too early, maybe they were missing some skills. So we took a hard look at what courses our students were taking to make sure that they're in the right location and they can actually grow the way we know that they can. We're also, you're going to hear me say growth 100 times. We're truly looking at a growth mindset. Every student, it's not every student can achieve, every student can grow. No matter where you're at in the continuum, whether you're the highest of high or the lowest of low in ability, everybody's going to make a year's worth of growth no matter what subject they're taking. And that's the mindset that we're trying to establish, which is a huge change. If you'd have listened to my presentations 10 years ago, you would have said we're taking a look at those high students that were high basic, we're trying to get them in proficiency. We didn't worry about the advanced kids. We didn't worry about those kids that were already proficient because they're already there. Now we're worried about even those students going to the next level and continuing to grow. So that growth mindset is key to what we're doing. How are we going to get there? I've already mentioned we did the curriculum realignment over the summer and through work last year. The ELA courses, we realigned how we're teaching that as well. We've paired up our English and reading teachers to have the same group of kids so that they're working as a teamed approach on their areas because they have a combined responsibility for English language arts. In mathematics, with the new textbook series, with the curriculum realignment, we feel that we have our students in the right location. Our teachers are teaching again with that growth mindset of everybody achieving, everybody moving forward. We're going to continue our efforts as teachers in self-reflecting. I'm a firm believer is you got to look at yourself and say, am I doing the job that I need to do for my kids to be successful? There's a document called Digging Deeper. It's part of the PVOS series, and PVOS, again, is under that growth mindset. And they ask some hard-hitting questions, and I ask the teachers to sit down with me and let's talk about what you're seeing in your classroom. Why is your data showing what it's showing? Traditionally, again, we do very well with our low-achieving students, but it's those high-achieving students that we're not attaining the growth with. We're focusing on those students as well now to make sure they're achieving that growth. So everything should be blue next year. At minimum, green is our goal. And then we're focusing the work that we're doing administratively between the 3 principals and getting in the classrooms that we know we have problems. We know certain math teachers, certain math classrooms, we're in the red. We're getting in there, we're checking their lesson plans, we're watching what's going on in the classroom, and all 3 of us have coaching backgrounds. Some of us are still coaching. So now we're coaching teachers the same way we coach kids. This is what we expect. This is what we want to see happen. How are we going to get there together? So we're focusing our observations there, and we continue to look at that depth of understanding for our students. Are they truly learning to the levels that are described in the standards and our courses of study? Are they reaching those action verbs? Are they just looking at that knowledge base where they're regurgitating information? Or are they able to apply that information to solve other problems, which is essential as these kids move into their STEM careers in the future? Okay. Dr. Shutters, question one.
Good evening. My name is Mr. Shutters. I'm Principal West Shamokin. To go over our information, what you'll see up here is similar to what you saw from Mike. That's how we did this past school year. Actually, if we look at our keystones, they're actually down a little bit from last year, which is going to happen when you go from year to year, different kids come through. But our SPP score did go up because they're getting that whole growth model. Of course, our biggest concern, mathematics, 37, 19%. We think we know a reason for that. We're working on that feverishly. West Shamokin, a lot of things go into this. It's something we talked about last year, continuation. We start every year with a summer data meeting. We go over every piece of data the state gives us. We start planning from there. We go from looking at that data, making sure our kids are placed where they're supposed to be placed, so they can be successful. One of the big things is on school-wide literacy. Research is clear. The more better kids read, the better they do in all subjects. Makes sense, even math. I had to explain to my 9th grader today why he has to do a one-page writing assignment in course. This is important. Our teachers have to do that in all their classes. So we emphasize that across the board. I sure didn't even survive the one-page assignment given to him. I ruined his weekend, so they told me. Feels good. Go back to the data. We put in place on our kids based on the criteria. We did our math. I'm not talking about that specifically. We thought a lot of times our kids weren't mature, weren't ready to know the skills. If you look at our algebra scores, let's say with Armstrong, we do very well in that. But especially in 8th grade, a lot of times we were skipping skills. So now we're trying to make sure we go and do that. And like we were talking about earlier, this 8th grade class is still in a situation where they're sort of, I won't say hanging and breathe, but they are not fully involved in our system. So we had a meeting just this week. We outlined how we're going to address those 8th graders, get those skills covered, and make them successful. Every year we have an SPP conference with our teachers. We sit down, we look at scores, growth, how they do, why they were successful, they felt, data back that up, and when we as a team, we share that information. Revising our benchmark assessments, we're continually trying to make those better, stronger. There again, those are the simple things you heard about. Those are like the mini PSSA tests Chuck talked about. We take that periodically throughout the year, and we adjust. We pull kids in and out of tutoring. Armstrong and us both have a tutoring period where we do several things. We take our kids that are weak and struggling from classes, give them extra help. Kids who are doing poorly on our state test, they get help. Our kids who are in AP, we pull them out and we give them extra help because we need to have them grow too. And the big thing is the curriculum realignment in math and ELA. We're sort of the point when you get to these levels of SPP, you really can't work harder. I don't care if teachers can only work harder, but we can always do things better. And that's what we're focusing on now. January 15th, we'll go over, and we will be looking at, in this case, everything from English in our 9th grade year, seeing how that transitions. That's one of our first years we get ready for the Keystone exam. So we're going to sit down with those 9th grade teachers and tweak and change and adapt to what we need to do to be successful for that 10th grade Keystone exam. You've heard about math all evening. Major concern, we think we got a lot of it figured out. Time will tell, but we're going to keep looking at using those skills in that plan to hopefully bring those up. I'm very confident of those. Questions for question open?
Dr. Stutters, you said you're thinking of the math period. What is the issue? I mean, what do you think it is? I'm not going to go into great detail, but
yeah.
And this is across the board. They changed the rules on us, but we didn't adjust it.
okay.
That's the plain and simple. Let's get into it. The standards had changed. This happened to us when I first came to the district in 2000. These scores were very similar to what we've experienced before. Until our students kind of grow up through the system, we're going to continue to see some struggling schools, and we're always going to feel like we're playing catch-up until.
We were in about the third cohort of kids was calling for. So these are kids that started under the old PSSA, had rules changed halfway through. You know, that's part of it. I think part of it was a little bit of slowness to change our mid-level curriculum, which we spent a lot of time with the department last year, being in service day, and really retooled our 7th and 8th grade classes. I think part of it is, you know, what Dr. Shutter's talking about, putting kids in the right place to succeed, you know, based on their personal history and their projection for success in a given math class. You know, and that's again to try to meet them at their level to drive, you know, that growth and reaching their personal potential. And some of that change also, those who've been around long enough, there was, before the Keystone, there was just the junior level PSSAs. Well, those got changed up to the Keystone's on the 11th grade test was a general test. Then it's usually beneficial to take a student and get them up as far as they could before they took that test. Because those skills they were tested on matched that test. Well, when they went and changed, and they said they grade with Common Core, there's things in there that we've seen. I've had a lot of parent conversations, and I actually had a graph, a chart for them, because the parent wants to know, how do my son score advanced in algebra, but he couldn't pass 8th grade test? That makes no sense. You know, most of us, it doesn't make sense. But when you look at the skills they're missing, yeah, it doesn't make sense. So that realignment, that reshuffle, kind of smoothing that out. I mean, the application of some of the things that we're doing in ELA and science at the secondary level to mathematics, the growth that they showed there for our ELA and science was significantly up in both buildings. That was up by 1 level in each building. And we've kind of set the stage for that. You know, we won't really know the fruits of our labor until we go through, you know, this school year, see where we're at, what we have to believe, what we're trying to successfully work on. And it's ever changing. You heard Chuck mention changing the text analysis. You guys probably constantly when you see it, but there's a lot more text analysis. It's no longer reading, getting an answer. It's digging into that. So as this continues to change and go from one thing to the next, we're shifting gears, changing equipment, changing resources, and trying to get kids prepared for what they got to take on.
Thank you.
The last thing I would add just to close is, and you would have saw this on every slide, I believe that this is more the first year that every school in the district reached proficiency level under the school performance profile. So that was probably the highlight of this data set.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to the student board representative reports.
Good evening. I'll be representing Dayton Elementary and Shannock Elementary. In Dayton Elementary, the Fall Festival was held, which funds the Gold Pass Reward Program and field trips for grade 6. A Veterans Day program was held to honor local veterans in the area. The Gold Pass Reward Program awarded 6th grade students a pass for Kings Lanes last Friday. The band and chorus concert is coming up on December 13th. On December 20th, Santa Claus will be visiting Dayton Elementary, which will provide a time of great joy and excitement among the students. And a lip sync contest will be held during school hours on the 21st, in which kids will battle it out, lip syncing to their favorite songs. In Shannock Valley Elementary, a Veterans Day program was held to honor local veterans in the area. The chorus sang patriotic songs, and essay winners presented their speeches in front of the school. There was a Pride Reward Assembly on November 22nd. Students were rewarded for their positive behavior through a movie and popcorn. Students from Shannock Valley just ended a school fundraiser in which they sold candy and artwork for the PTO. The fundraiser was a great success. An assembly will be held tomorrow featuring the Bright Stars Children's Theater, and the band and chorus are working very hard to prepare for their combined Christmas concert coming up on the 21st. In both schools, students enjoyed Santa's Workshop, a shop set up in which students were able to purchase small gifts or presents for friends and family members. On December 22nd, both schools will have their classroom Christmas parties in which students can relax and enjoy the day celebrating the holiday season. During this day, Dayton Elementary will have a Christmas Carol sing-along. Thank you, and I'll pass it to Evan.
Hello, I'll be representing West Shamokin and Elderton Elementary. At West Shamokin, the music department has been very busy. The Chorus Christmas concert was held on November 30th, featuring performances by both the senior high and junior high choirs. Members of the senior high chorus performed at the Ford City Light Up Night to kick off the holiday season. The band Christmas concert was held on December 6th, and select students attended county chorus and county band at Freeport Middle School. And this year's musical, The Music Man, will begin production next Wednesday. The cast and crew are very excited to begin another thrilling musical season. And in science, students in Physics 2 and 3 attended the ASM Materials Camp at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center in Pittsburgh. It was very informative. Many different engineers were there to tell us about different aspects of the field that we could be involved in. We had all kinds of scientists, and it was quite the experience. Students in AP Biology observed an open heart surgery at Allegheny General Hospital. And last week, students in AP Biology attended a genetics conference hosted by Dr. Sam Ryan, where he discussed the future of cancer treatment. He's a very prominent genetics researcher, so he knows quite a lot about the future of the subject. And in sports, the soccer team emerged as the District 5 and District 6 champions after defeating Everett Area High School, and they participated in the state playoffs. And the girls volleyball team went very far this year, and they made it to the Final Four in the state AA championships. And the Quiz Bowl team will be playing at the Indiana County Academic League Championships on December 18th at the Rustic Lodge in Indiana. The National Honor Society held its induction ceremony on December 5th, honoring students' commitment to community service and scholarship. I believe we had 16 or 17 members inducted, so it's a very exciting time for them. The Students Against Destructive Decisions attended the state conference at Seven Springs Resort. And the Leo Club will be assisting the Salvation Army in bell ringing outside of local businesses next week. And they will also be sponsoring a breakfast with Santa Claus this Saturday at West Shamokin. The Student Council honored local veterans with an assembly on November 9th. And it's been a busy time for our seniors as well. The senior class officers ran a well-attended powder puff game in October, where the class of 2018 defeated the class of 2019 49-0. Our Halloween carnival was a great success, and we raised approximately $2,500 for the senior class. This year, we invited students from the 6th grade classes from Shannock Valley Elementary and Dayton Elementary. This is a first time for us, and we thought it went very, very well. And our students of the month for October were myself and Olivia Fizarro, and Kurt Slegel and Shelby Klauser received the honor in November, and Robert Wheatley and Zoe Eisenman-Hirschman were just selected as our students of the month in December. And at Elderton Elementary, students are enjoying the new playground equipment awarded to them by Project Fit America, which they received on October 11th. Halloween was celebrated as students brought in costumes and treats for their classrooms parties. Members of the military were honored by students at the annual Veterans Day Assembly. And the chorus and band are making their final preparations for their big concert, which will be on December 19th. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Excuse me. Would you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Yeah, I'm Evan Marino. I'm the senior high board representative for West Shamokin, and this is my friend Eric, and he's the junior high, not the junior representative.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to public comments. Are there any public comments on agenda items this evening? If not, we'll move on to presentation of the regular monthly agenda. Okay, so do I have consensus to place the minutes of the November 9th and open caucus meeting and November 13th regular meeting on the agenda for Monday? Okay. Bills. I have consensus to place the food service, capital projects fund, athletic fund, and bills for payments on the agenda for Monday. Okay. Personnel and education, Ed 1 were discussed in executive session. Do I have consensus to place business items 1 through 4 on the agenda for Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any question, if I could explain business 2, probably for the new board members?
Okay.
Okay. One of the biggest jobs you have as board members we do as a school district is developing a budget for the school. Our budget's $97 million, and there's 2 ways that you can go about doing that. One is, what we're recommending this year is to pass a resolution that dictates that the board cannot raise taxes more than the Act 1 index, which for our district this year is 3.4%. That doesn't mean we're going to, but when we go to adopt the final budget in June, we cannot raise it above 3.4% of where it currently is. And that equates to about $1.1 million new dollars if we were to use that whole 3.4%. That is our recommendation. We don't believe we're going to need to use that, even that much. All right, we're probably going to come in with you with something less than that or nothing at all. Or the other option would be is to adopt a preliminary budget in January, file for exceptions to raise the millage above the Act 1 index, where you can file exceptions for a certain couple different things. And that would mean you'd be raising above the 3.4%. But this time, we don't believe we need to do that, so we're going to adopt this resolution. We'll start talking about the budget with you guys probably March, April. The administration has begun working on their budgets in October. They turned things into the business office. They're due tomorrow for all departments and all buildings. So the business office, the administration will start compiling that, and we'll start bringing something out to you guys in March or April.
Sam, can I mention something?
Sure.
When Sam says 3.4%, that's not 3.4% of tax dollars. That's 3.4% of your millage.
Which it would equal two mils, about 2.06 mils, I believe it is. Which our current millage is 58 and some change mils.
Okay. Do you want to comment on any
Sure.
of the other items?
The first one, participation in Aaron's cooperative purchasing program, something we do annually. Aaron is our IU that's located over in Indiana. We go together with other school districts. We bid out certain items like copy paper, janitorial items, school supplies. So we do a cooperative purchasing program to attain better pricing. And business 3 and 4, these are 2 studies that we're going to do. One is for an environmental study with Skelly and Lloyd for $10,000. The other was a facility condition assessment with Reynolds Construction for $7,650. And we're doing these studies for a potential reuse of portions of that building to see if it's feasible to do so. Not by the district, but potential outside organizations may want to reuse that building in the future.
Okay.
Any questions on the business items?
We okay to put those on the agenda for Monday? Okay, good. Approval of school bus drivers. Well, consensus to put that on the agenda for Monday's meeting? Okay. Policy items 1 and 2. Alderman Leslie.
Yes, there's not a whole lot to comment on these ones. The first one, our central administration, as well as I believe there was input from the building principals, is I'll call it fine-tuning of our existing suicide awareness, prevention, and response policy. We're required to have this by law, and it is a information and a training that our staff goes through in terms of recognizing students who they feel may be potentials for considering harming themselves. Also, there's an education component and training for our staff, which I believe they've already gone through, actually.
Yes, they have.
Yes. So you're ahead of the curve as compared to a lot of school districts in that regard. And this is just conforming it to what a lot of the behavioral science and mental health experts have added, and that's what's in the policy. The other one is a policy, again, this is pursuant to a federal law. It's the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. As you know, there are nutritional requirements now for the cafeteria's lunch program. This is not part of the lunch program. It's a separate law where if you're serving snacks or fundraising in a school, there are nutritional requirements to meet. Quite frankly, one of the big differences is in the area of fundraising, where food items are involved. It used to be there was a limitation on the number of fundraising events involving food items that did not meet the nutritional requirements. Now they're letting local districts decide how many of those they wish to do, where you don't have to meet the nutritional requirements. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay. So do I have consensus to place policy 1 and 2 on the agenda for Monday? Okay. There's nothing in the informational folder.
There's 4 items in the information folder. The enrollment as of this month, district-wide. There's a conflict of interest policy there. It's policy 827. If you got on that policy, it says all employees and board members review that annually. It's in there for your review. There's a list of holiday band and music concerts throughout the district for your review. And there's a bunch of positive articles regarding things that are going on in our buildings with our kids. That's it.
That's it? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.